welcome to the HeartWorking Dad podcast. I'm your host, Gabriel Perez, and this is the podcast for Christian fathers looking to do the hard work of HeartWork. And the goal of this podcast is to provide a foundation for spiritual and practical leadership in leading your family. And like I said, I'm Gabriel Perez. If this is the first time we're meeting, I've been married with my wife for 12 years. We've been together for 19. We have 3 kids, a 11-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 7-year-old. My wife and I both work full-time jobs, and we homeschool our kids. And in addition to that, I'm a certified biblical parenting coach at the National Center of Biblical Parenting Association. There we go. All right, in this episode, I want to get into just a story. I want to share a story of something that's happened in our family, and it's not anything major, it's not nothing big. But my wife calls me up, and she says, I don't know what to do. There's this bird on the ground, and our cat, I think she caught it, and she injured it really bad. I was like, I thought it was emergency when she first called me, because the panic in her voice. And I said, well, just get a box, put a little towel in there, and let it kind of heal up in there, and then we'll just give it some water and food and see what happens. So she did that. We put it in there, and we saw the bird. When I came home from work, the bird was pretty injured. I could see something was wrong with its leg. We couldn't tell what was wrong. The wing could have been messed up. But we just left. We just kept feeding it, giving it water, and we just protected it at night so no cats can get it. We put like our chair over it, so I don't think it really would have protected from a cat. But that normally would have been it. We'll see what happens with the bird. If it dies, it dies. Like Rocky. If he dies, he dies. And honestly, that's kind of, I'm not a big save the animals kind of person. That's not been something that, I love animals. I have nothing against them. But at the same time, I'm probably not going to go way out of my way to save an animal. And a bird that there's thousands upon millions of birds that just come up. We feed the birds. It's like, isn't that enough? So just to give you a sense, I'm not that kind of animal guy. But I was running one morning, and I usually do my morning run, and I just noticed the tree. And, and maybe I was feeling a little philosophical, but I just noticed the beauty and the seasons that we go through. And the seasons of a tree, it sprouts, and then it blooms, and then the leaves start to die. But as they die, it also brings seeds to the other plants, and then it dies so it can bloom again. And I don't know, just going down this rabbit hole. But then I thought about the bird, and I felt like God kind of put this bird on my heart, and He said, I take care of the birds. And we're so much more valuable than the birds, but the birds, they don't have to worry day to day. But it was just that feeling like I take care of the birds. And the idea came that God heals the wounded, the broken. This bird was wounded. It's broken. We don't even know if it'll fly again. And God said, will you take care of that bird? And I don't know. It wasn't like audible, but it was just the impression that I felt of just take care of this bird. And I might have left it at that, but I didn't. I came home, and actually, yeah, I did leave it at that. It was put on my heart, but I thought maybe I'll get like a bird cage. But then my wife started asking me some stuff about the bird, and I said, you know what? I really felt God put on my heart to take care of this bird. And I don't know, I was maybe in the moment, but yeah, I think we should get a cage and just really protect it. Give it a place that it can actually maybe heal and maybe one day fly again. And I don't know, it's kind of weird how God works in these ways, because I said that to my wife and I didn't think much of it, but it resonated with her heart. And it did resonate with my heart that this is a broken bird and it needs help. And I actually saw myself in this bird. I'm wounded. I have wounds. I have brokenness. Like, yes, I can walk. Yes, I can still function. But the thing is God is caring for my heart. He is helping me in my wounds, in my brokenness. And just like this bird is a picture of that, how can I help in this bird's woundedness and brokenness? So we got a cage, we got food, and we're trying to take care of it. We're giving it a place to really just heal. And my son, he goes, "Can I pray for the bird?" I said, "Yeah." And he prays for the bird. And he goes, what if God doesn't heal the bird? He can, but what if he doesn't? And it was just this opportunity to have a conversation about the heart of God. Because I think so often we can just get into this, if God doesn't do this, then he doesn't care. If God doesn't do this, then does he even work at all? We can look at these dire situations and put that on God as just being silent and not doing anything. And it was a good opportunity that even though God may not heal this bird, it doesn't mean that he's not doing anything. It doesn't mean that he doesn't love this bird. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care. It just means that he's got a plan. But we're here to help. We get to be the hands and feet and help in this process of healing. And to even take it a step further, we can look at that bird and just say, we can relate to this bird because the bird is scared. Every time we go in there, it starts kind of freaking out. It's flapping its wings. And honestly, a lot of birds just die from the stress of all of this. We asked a friend because their heart, they just go in like cardiac arrest and I could feel this little bird's heart beating as we tried to change it out, put it into the cage. And I just think we're so much like this bird. Like, how often am I terrified of letting God come in and heal me? The bird doesn't know the intention I have. The bird doesn't know what I plan on doing. The bird's just like, this guy's huge. He's going to demolish me. He's going to squash me. He's going to torture me. He's just thinking fear, 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 fear. And he's not really willing to accept the healing, the help that we're giving it. I mean, he'll accept it when we're gone. But how often do we approach God like that? How often do we approach God with, God, I don't know your plans for me, and I'm hesitant to move forward. I'm hesitant to receive your plans. I'm hesitant to trust that you have a better plan for me. I'm just going to hide in my corner and just be in fear. I want to just be here in my woundedness and in my brokenness because I'm actually comfortable in it. And it just painted this picture of that I'm that bird. We're all that bird. We all can be that bird who is just injured and broken and hurt and scared of the healer, scared of the helper, scared of God. We think our plans are better than God's plans. And I know this is getting way deep for helping a little bird, but I think that is the process that God brings us into. He helps us see things differently. And I think as I've worked on my heart, as I've learned to see God in not just the big things, but the little things, that you see him everywhere. And so even in this little bird's life, I see how God works in my own life. I see how God cares. And the bird's leg is really bad right now. Honestly, I don't see it getting better. The way it is, it's badly broken, but we've tried to let it fly. It can't fly yet. But we're still sticking with it. We're still giving it care. We're still hoping that it does fly, that one day it can learn to live with the wounds it has and fly and be free. And it will be stronger because of that. It will be a stronger bird because it's learned to function outside of its wounds. Its wounds don't define it. It's still going to fly. And that's my hope for this bird. That's my prayer, that this bird gets healed and that we don't have to keep him in a cage, that he flies and is free. And I think that is God's heart. I want to believe that that's God's heart for us, that we don't have to stay in our wounds. We don't have to stay broken, but that through these wounds, through this brokenness, we're able to be stronger. We're able to move forward, and we will find freedom in the healing that God has for us, in the restoration process. So kind of a lot to unpack for just a little bird. And the bird's name is Pedro. It's it's our little bird for now. And funny story now, my wife just wants to house a bunch of handicapped animals because we already have either a three-legged cat or a two-armed cat. However you want to. We've had this argument before. Are they arms or are they legs? But so we have a three-legged cat. We have almost a one-legged bird who can't fly. And she just wants to have a house full of disabled animals and care for blind cats and all that. And one is enough for me, I've always said, but here we are. We have two now. So that is the episode. Just wanted to share that story. I think it's kind of a beautiful example of where we can be at as wounded men. And the challenge would be to allow God into your brokenness, allow God into your wounds. Accept that he has a plan for you that is better than the one that you can come up with. And trust him. Trust God. And that is my encouragement too. Trust God. His ways are better than our own. And when we do that, he's able to be the healer that we need. He's able to be the provider, the protector, and all of these things that we want to do with the bird's not going to really receive it right now. But when it begins to trust, maybe when it begins to understand that we're here to help it, maybe that's going to help the bird in his journey. I would think so. It doesn't have to run, doesn't have to be scared. So there it is. I've already gone longer than I wanted to on that point. But yeah, that's it. And just some things. If you really enjoy this podcast, if you get a lot of value on it, please leave a rating and review. It just helps the podcast grow, helps spread this message for Christian fathers and helping them in their leadership journey. So I would appreciate a rating and review, Apple or Spotify. Also, share. If you know a dad who could use this, share. And if you would like a free resource, the HeartWorking Dad Family Plan, you can go to HeartWorkingDad.com and you can send me, fill out the form. I'll send you the HeartWorking Dad Plan, which is just a basic plan to help you schedule the priorities that really matter and not prioritize your schedule. So with that, I'll catch you on the next episode. Later.